Why hasn't Anthony Davis won Defensive Player of the Year despite being one of the most dominant defenders in the NBA? Let's break down Davis's defensive impact, looking at both the stats and the narratives that have shaped his reputation. We'll also explore the factors, both on and off the court, that may have kept him from winning the award. Keep watching as we deep dive into the case for Anthony Davis, only here on Sports Frenzy TV. Back in April 2024, long before Anthony Davis was traded to Dallas, he made a strong statement about the Defensive Player of the Year or DPOY award. He claimed that he would never win it because the league didn't like him despite believing he was the best defensive player in the NBA. He argued that he could switch onto any position, guard the pick and roll better than any big man, and impact the game in ways no one else could defensively. That comment got me thinking. Why hasn't Davis won this award? And more importantly, does he have a case for it? Davis has been a defensive force for most of his career. Over 13 seasons, he has finished in the top 3 of DPOY voting only twice. The first time was during the 2017-18 season when he finished 3rd, but that race wasn't even close, with Rudy Gobert running away with the award. The second time was in 2020 when he finished 2nd behind Giannis Antetokounmpo, though it wasn't a particularly close contest. Since then, Davis hasn't cracked the top 3 again, which seems surprising given his reputation as one of the best defenders in the league. If you were to ask people who the most consistently dominant defender has been since 2012, Davis would be one of the first names brought up. From the moment he entered the league, his physical attributes, length, athleticism, and lateral quickness made him a defensive nightmare. But what truly sets him apart is his basketball IQ. Unlike many elite athletes who rely purely on their physical gifts, Davis has an advanced understanding of the game, allowing him to excel in any defensive system. Yet, despite his individual brilliance, he has never won Defensive Player of the Year. Why is that? Let's take a deeper look at the numbers, the narratives, and the possible reasons behind this. One of the biggest reasons Davis hasn't won the award is that, for much of his career, his teams haven't been elite defensively. Voters tend to favor players who anchor top-tier defensive teams. And unfortunately for Davis, that hasn't often been the case. During his 7 seasons with the New Orleans Pelicans, the team only ranked in the top 10 in defensive rating once. More often than not, they were near the bottom of the league. This created a perception that while Davis was a great individual defender, he wasn't necessarily a great defensive leader. Part of his perception stems from his leadership style, or lack thereof. Davis has never been the most vocal player, which has sometimes been used against him in discussions about his impact on defense. A well-known moment from 2016 highlighted this issue. During a preseason locker room exchange, new teammate Tim Frazier turned to Davis and asked him if he was going to say something to the team. Davis, caught off guard, responded, "Oh, my bad," later admitting that he wasn't expecting to say anything but realized in that moment that his teammates were looking to him for leadership. His former coach Alvin Gentry even pointed out that communication and leadership were areas where Davis had room to grow. But let's be fair, defense isn't just about leadership, it's also about having the right personnel. And outside of Drew Holiday, the Pelicans never really surrounded Davis with strong defensive players. This lack of defensive support made it difficult for Davis to elevate his teams to an elite level defensively, which in turn hurt his DPOY chances. As we've seen with past winners, such as Rudy Gobert, team success on defense matters a lot when it comes to this award. When Davis was traded to the Lakers in 2019, things seemed to change. He immediately made a huge impact, helping the team win a championship in 2020 while leading one of the league's best defenses. That year, he finished 2nd in DPOY voting, coming closer than ever before to winning the award. But even then, he didn't take home the trophy. Since then, his name has largely been left out of serious DPOY conversations, despite continuing to play elite defense. A big part of the reason why Davis hasn't won the award is that his defensive impact is harder to quantify than that of other players, especially traditional rim protectors like Gobert. Over the years, the DPOY award has heavily favored big men who specialize in rim protection, and Gobert is the perfect example. He routinely ranks among the best in the NBA in opponent field goal percentage at the rim, holding opponents to about 58% shooting within 5 feet compared to the league average of 66%. He also alters how teams play, deterring opponents from even attempting shots in the paint when he's on the floor. Gobert's defensive impact is easy to measure. His teams consistently rank at the top of the league in defensive rating when he's playing. Davis, on the other hand, has a different kind of impact. He's arguably the most versatile defender in the NBA, capable of guarding multiple positions, providing weak side help, and making game-changing plays. But those things aren't as easy to track with traditional stats. There's no metric that accurately measures how often he helps a teammate recover on defense or disrupts a pass before it happens. Because of this, his defensive contributions often go underappreciated in award voting. Another factor that has hurt Davis's DPOY chances is his injury history. Since joining the Lakers, he has dealt with numerous injuries that have caused him to miss significant portions of multiple seasons. This has led to the unfortunate nickname Anthony Day-to-Day Davis, highlighting the uncertainty surrounding his availability. When voters consider candidates for DPOY, one of the first things they look at is how many games a player has played. Unfortunately for Davis, his injury history has made it difficult for him to build a strong case for the award. There's also the matter of Davis's reputation in the league. His exit from the New Orleans was controversial. He forced his way out, making it clear he wouldn't play for the team unless he was traded. This move left a bad taste in the mouths of many fans and analysts, and it arguably affected how he is perceived by the media and voters. This trade request set off a trend of superstar players demanding trades in ways that some viewed as damaging to the league, leading the NBA to introduce new rules in response. Davis has acknowledged that he feels the league doesn't want to promote him, and there may be some truth to that. Despite being one of the most dominant big men of his generation, he often finds himself overshadowed by players like Giannis Antetokounmpo, Joel Embiid, and Nikola Jokic. Even while playing alongside LeBron James in one of the biggest markets in the NBA, he hasn't received the level of recognition that some might expect. So, will Anthony Davis ever win Defensive Player of the Year? It's tough to say. He's still one of the best defenders in the league, and if he can stay healthy and lead his team to a top-ranked defense, he might finally get the recognition he deserves. But the reality is that he faces an uphill battle. The league tends to favor players with easily measurable defensive impact, and Davis's strengths don't always show up in the numbers the same way they do for other elite defenders. Let me know what you think about Anthony Davis's defense. Do you think there was a particular year when he should have won Defensive Player of the Year? Do you see him winning it in the future? He has made it clear that defense is important to him and that he wants the award. But will he ever get it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and as always, we'll see you next time. Peace!